Got 16 seconds.
Joe, 16 seconds. We're down to 16 seconds. 12.
Yep, still got me.
It's not very long unless you're on the board.
That was recorded. That's good. All right, I'm good to go. All right, it's 5 o'clock. We'll go and get tonight's work session started. Let the record reflect all council members are present except for Councilman James Mayberry. We'll move now into public comment. Is there anybody from the public that wishes to address council at this time? Bailey, we don't have anybody that's filled anything out. Okay. And if you haven't signed in, please make sure that you sign in here at the front, just so we have for public record. Seeing none, now we'll move right into agenda item number 1, Sports Authority, City of Crossville. Hand this off to City Manager to update. Looks like we've got reappointments.
Reappointments, Tracy Barnes and Rob Patton. Their terms expire next month, and they've agreed to continue.
Really?
They were on the shorter, right, or the shorter 2 cycle, yeah, so it was.
And they've also already had elections and they've been reappointed.
Have they? They missed the meeting again, huh?
Okay.
Actually, no.
So they've been reappointed on their end, and we just need to button that up.
Yes.
Okay. Without any objection, we'll add that to the agenda. Number 2, discussion of approval of resolution for Purple Heart Society, Purple Heart City.
DAR has requested that we become a Purple Heart City. I don't think it requires any financial obligation on our part. It's just a commitment to honoring the bravery, sacrifice, and service of Purple Heart recipients and their families. And staff recommends approval.
Okay, so this is coming from the Daughters of the American Revolution, asking the city to be a part of that. Looks like we just have to do a resolution every so many years. Okay. Does the council have any objection to that? All right, we'll add that to the agenda. Moving on to action discussion regarding approval of an easement for public hiking trails. Again, to get this to the city manager to update council.
Yes, and Tim, feel free to pipe in wherever you would like to. We've been trying to get this easement from the Catholic Church for, I don't know how many years, 5, would you say? It's been a pretty good while, and we finally worked it out, and the church has agreed to give the city an easement for ingress and egress and install signs, markers, other improvements as necessary.
Is this still on Sparta? Okay.
Anything to add, Tim?
That would connect the Habitat Trail, it would connect to the Habitat Trail, and there's one more property in order to get it to connect to Sparta Drive. So it's getting close to making a full loop where the trail would not be a dead end.
Nice.
Connect
Who manages the trail? Who's keeping up with it? Is it the city or is it the what's the hiking club?
The city maintains that, yeah. John Conrad, they build them and then the city takes them over, right, Ethan?
Yeah, he doesn't want to maintain them.
Okay. So we maintain once they initially build it. Okay. All right.
There is an obligation to take care of it that's set forth in that easement, as I recall.
So as of right now, you're just wanting council's blessing to move forward with the easement, okay, and then that will then go into the city attorney's hands to the...
He has already
We've
reviewed it.
already met on this several times.
Yeah, it'll go to the bishop of the Catholic Church in Knoxville to be signed.
And then does it have to come back for a final signing with this? So we're good if we were to move forward with this. Okay, council, any questions? You guys in agreement with that? Okay, we'll go ahead and move that on to the agenda item, consent agenda. We'll move over now into item number 4, discussion regarding approval of financial policy. Finance Director, do you want to kind of take the hand?
Yeah, this is the next financial policy. You've had several the last few meetings. This is another one. I went through and looked at our internal controls. I don't know if you've read. There's like 60-something pages there. We had one, but we lacked a lot of areas, so I went through and redid it. I found a few things we could do better on. We looked to implement some changes to improve things, but just asking you to go ahead and approve that to make that our new policy going forward.
Can you, I know last time we did some financing stuff that this was something that was leaned on. Can you share with council the point of this policy and updating it every so often?
Yeah, the state recommends you update them every so often anyway. And there's several that the state is looking at. The state is implementing some new awards. One is a financial award that municipalities can achieve. This is the first year they've had this. And so they sent out a list of guidance of what they would want municipalities to have as far as policies in place to be eligible to win the Financial Excellence Award. We had several of them. We've had to develop a few. Like I said, we had this one, but it had been updated probably 8 years or so. I think 2017. So we went back through and started looking through all the ones we've had, just trying to update them, make them better, and hope to review them every couple of years just as far as any changes. But in doing so, like I said, we were able to find some stuff that we can improve on. Sure. Which is the whole purpose of this, is to find areas that we can improve on to make the city more secure in their financial positions.
Just another way to look good in the eyes of the state comptroller, and obviously if we decide to do any type of funding, it helps with.
It helps if you have these policies in place.
So all these are basically lifted from the GAO Green Book, is that right?
Several are. Some developed through reading other municipalities' policies, looking for stuff they had, looking through MTAS policies, looking for stuff that may apply to us that, may not apply to them, things like that, and modifying them, and taking parts that we can use and making them work for our city.
All right. Any other questions, thoughts? I think it's always good to be above board and be setting the example, so we'll add that to the agenda. Moving now into number 5, discussion regarding approval to submit a letter of intent for a Healthy Built Environment grant.
Yes, we are requesting approval to apply for a grant for a trailhead and parking at Meadow Park Lake, and it's up to $80,000 is available. And this is just a letter of intent at this point.
And so, this is a part of a bigger development that we're going to be doing with that trail ride, or is it just to help?
Well, we currently need more parking,
Okay.
but it is for the additional trail where the bridge is,
Okay.
I believe.
Yeah. All right, any questions? All right, we'll add that onto the agenda. Number 6, discussion regarding Meadow Park Lake expansion. We'll let the city manager and engineer tag team this. But
Okay. I'll start it. Basically, proposals were received for full delivery services for mitigation for raising the dam at Meadow Park Lake. So if we're interested in moving forward, the next step is to develop a contract with the proposed bidder and for full delivery services for that contract with Wofford and that proposer. We estimate that will cost around $20,000 to do that portion of it, $10,000 for the city attorney, and then $10,000 for Wofford to develop that. And then beyond that, we're requesting a contract amendment for Wofford to complete the permit from that point on.
Just ballpark, what are we looking at total rough cost?
It's $100,000.
$100,000.
And we do have that amount budgeted.
And when we get done with these actions, what will that? Where are we at then as a next step? So that if we were to move forward with this, what does that get us to?
The next step would be the actual draft mitigation plan that they would be developing. Am I correct?
Yeah, I think we're, once we're under contract with them, from our meeting that we had last week, we should be really close to submitting a permit application. The permit application will not be a full application, but it'll have enough mitigation wording in there so that we can go out for public comment. And that's pretty important at this point in time, that we get it to public comment advertised. It's going to take 6 months to develop the full plan for the mitigation. And at that point in time, we feel like we're going to have a full package to go in the permit. And we feel like it'll take the Corps about a year, the Corps and TDEC about a year to approve the permit at that point in time. So once we get that contract, we feel like we're probably about 18 months out from receiving the permit.
And once the permit's received, is that when we're locked into the mitigation and the cost of that with that company? Or will that be something that'll be?
That's something we've got to work out with this contract. And it's going to be a tough contract to work through. It's a little different animal with financial. We'll have to have some kind of financial assurance from the proposal that we're moving forward with for every aspect.
I was just trying to help get clarity about when we will actually start getting locked in on these larger commitments. You know, right now, it's still large money, 6 figures is a lot of money, but I'm saying when we start getting locked into the 7-8 figure type of situation, where we get thinking, we were a couple of, where's our timeline, when are we going to be locked into like the bigger stuff? Is that after this?
We will not be locked into the bigger stuff until after the 18 months. So the money needed, the full-blown money required for the full-blown mitigation and for the construction work would not be needed for at least 18 months.
But this has to be done to get to that point to figure out, okay.
That is correct.
I just want to, okay.
And when we come back with the contract for the mitigation work, there will be a cost for them to move forward in the next 6 months to develop the plan for them. But we're not in the millions of dollars with that.
I think people were just asking, some people thought that this conversation and this potential vote was locking us into that larger number. And I the assumption, like you said, that there's still some steps here. We're a year and a half away before we are locked into something like that, right?
That's correct.
Okay. Any other questions from you all? I wanted to make sure there's some clarity on that. Okay.
And that's your recommendation, Tim?
Yes.
Okay. Now, I know there was some conversation with, on the regional side, making sure everybody involved was on board. Is that something that's going to have to be done before or after this process to make sure the whole permitting process? Is that something that we got to make sure CPWA is giving a thumbs up? Or I remember at the last meeting it was Army Corps was saying that we had to make sure that that we're approaching this from a regional standpoint, right, and that all regional players were good with it. There was a little bit of that conversation there with Wofford and the Army Corps, and I think CPWA about that.
I've not discussed it with Jeff or the CPWA.
Okay.
I would say that the thing that we need to be cognizant of is that as we go down this road, that we make sure that whatever we do is assignable should the city consider any type of merger in the future.
Do y'all have any questions about anything? Thoughts, comments? Okay. We'll add that to the agenda. All right, next up is number 7, and that is the ordinance amending the budget.
Yes, this is for the sewer study that you're going to be reviewing at the retreat, the Dunbar Road or Brown Elementary sewer study, and for the fees for the bonds. So it's a budget amendment covering both of those things, or for the TML loan.
So have we got the study back yet?
Yes.
We have a draft copy. We've got a few comments that we're sending them out.
Is that something, when are you all looking at probably presenting that to council at the
retreat?
At the retreat, okay, good, so we'll have plenty of time to get into that, okay. All right. Add that to the agenda. And that brings us to number 8, ordinance amending 2-202 Leisure Services Committee. I think Ethan, we were going to try to add some people on there, Leisure Service Director, right? We're going to try to add some members to that group, or?
We're essentially going to switch people, and I think actually lose one, get the number, and an odd number. Yes.
So we're taking away, or we're adding to what it's already been approved and exists?
Your name, I think, would be the...
Technically, I mean, you're losing one, but you're not.
Just switching the role that
Yes.
person plays, so you've got
Yeah.
more more collective effort from
Yes.
diverse opinions. Okay. That's what I thought, just to make sure. Any comments from council? We'll add that to the agenda. And I think we have one more, and I'm going to ask the city attorney to help piggyback this with me. Do you want
Yes.
to talk about?
When I got here tonight, Chief Brooks wanted me to look at some documents. We own the property over here on Webb. We have had part of it changed. As I recall, there's 5 entrances into that property. And if you go all the way around it, we're having a problem with trespassers going on and camping and doing those kinds of things. And what I would suggest is that we place this on the calendar for next week on the agenda to declare that the city police department has the authority to barricade those entrances, put up no trespassing signs, and to prosecute anybody that violates that.
Okay. Any questions from council? No? No? Okay. So if you're fine with that, I'll then place it on the consent agenda then and not put that in other business. Are you fine with that? No,
Oh,
you have
yes.
no questions? Okay. All right. That brings us to the end of our meeting.
I thought that was going to be a long one.
Is that when our council?
Actually,